How's it going, guys? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting. Welcome back to ReWrite. Last week's episode was, it was interesting. Because things just suck right now. Everyone just vanished on us. We have a new power thing of, like, making ribbons of what I assume is just our blood into, like, a kind of a claw thing. We experimented with it a lot. But this is, like, just to distract us from the fact that everyone, including Kotori, just are gone. So I'm kind of hoping we find somebody. Anybody? It's kind of crap that we just... there's no one. Not even an explanation. Akane's note just kind of told us just to pretend it doesn't happen and just move on with your life. It's like, no, that's not... like I would at least have to have Kotori back. If I had Kotori back, maybe we'd consider just walking away and pretending it never happened. But she had nothing to do with this, clearly. And yet now she's caught up in it somehow, so... yeah, whatever's going on with that. So hopefully we get some answers. I at least see her. I would know she's alive. I imagine she's got to have... I mean, if Chibi-Moth's still around, like, she's got to be with him, right? Like, he seems like a kind of a plot convenience type of creature, but at the same time, it's a plot convenience creature for Kotori, so shouldn't Chibi-Moth be there? I would hope so. Anyway. I'm not going to pretend like I know anything else about what's the heck's going on. It's just... right over my head. However, there was a bit of an update real quick before we jump in. It just has to do with like the ending. Somebody pointed out something interesting to me, and it does give me a bit of pause. So here's what I'm thinking here. I usually do not want to showcase all endings on my channel. For one thing, it makes the series run exceptionally long, and for two, I always want to leave stuff for other people to explore on their own. These stories are so narratively heavy, there's already a high risk that I'm going to spoil so much it would dissuade someone from getting the game, which would mean that the developers and the translators and everybody who brought it here wouldn't get any direct support. So I like doing a hybrid. Like, I like being able to do like a full playthrough where we feel like we get some conclusion, but that there's still something left behind for you as an audience member to explore if you haven't played it yet. It's important to me. I believe it's also really important to foster as good a relationship as I can with the developers and publishers, considering how aggressive the Japanese companies have been in the past and how they continue to be. Even with this series, you get ads on this series, but I don't even try to post ads on this series. They just get claimed by the publisher. And that's fine. I have no problem with that. It hurts me in the algorithm. It'll be something that impacts my ability to grow as a channel, but I don't really care that much because I make content I want to make. I don't chase algorithms. I mean, I wouldn't be making this content if I did. And I'm also just, I don't know. I'll be successful if I am successful because of what I love to do, not because of what everyone else is being successful doing. So I have no trouble with that at all. I really just enjoy sharing the journey. And so the fact that they allow me to post at all is something I'm grateful for. But it means that there's a lot of like kind of give and take that goes on there, and it's actually why I have hesitation on doing some series, which is interesting. I see another channel that recently started doing like a full Clannad playthrough. And that's for me just playing with fire, because Key, while they do publish this, they have restrictions on different games because of coordinations they do with the developers. And the thing is, like, Key very specifically, like, I actually asked them if I could do Clannad, and they specifically told me, like, you can only play it up to this point and no further. And it was like the end of the first chapter, which is like, it's like, I think it's supposed to be like 10 hours of gameplay, but still, like, it's nothing compared to the entire game. And so creators are posting that, like, they're taking a big risk on themselves, and the risk I'm not willing to take because I want these companies to look at my channel positively. Now, why am I saying all this? Trouble is, I usually don't want to show just one ending in a game like this where so much plot is locked behind like a true ending. So kind of like what I did with Steins Gate. Steins Gate, I got the ending I got naturally, and then I made the changes to get the true ending and play through that. So I still left a lot of endings to be explored, but I showcased some of the ones that I picked. The one I picked, and then the true ending. And so I want to do something like that. I want to get to the natural ending that I get to on my own based on my choices. And then I would want to do one for the true ending, which apparently like is pretty impactful. Like apparently like the true ending has a couple different endings, I supposedly, but like they're like the true ending, it's just which one you choose. Thankfully, people have been really good about not spoiling anything, but kind of just depicting an idea for me, because the problem is, I guess, to access the true ending, you have to play through multiple times and get these different branches. And that's going to be a problem because it's going to take a lot of time. And that's stuff I don't want to showcase on the channel because, again, I don't want to show too much of a game on the channel itself. I want to leave something for you all to explore. And so we're going to get to the issue where, what do I do? Well, we have a couple options. The first thing I could do sometimes with other games is I do parallel plays, where like when I start feeling like I'm getting close to an ending, I start doing different save files to play through different endings to kind of catch up. That apparently won't work very well with this game. And just because of the nature of the way they built it, it's built to be played through multiple times. Like a good example is like Muddle Up Extra. Great example of a game that was kind of built for you to enjoy all the endings, but you didn't have to play through all of them. You technically were supposed to only have to play through 2 of them, and you could access the next half of the game, which was unlimited. But again, like most of it was optional, and so you could do a parallel play pretty easily to unlock like the 2 main paths and then do the rest on your own. But because I can't really do that here, apparently, like I'm trusting the people who are trying to help me here. That's going to be a bit of an issue. So what I'm probably going to end up having to do is get to the end of this and then take a break while I'm playing through the rest of it and kind of getting my own full experience. And then when I get to the point where I unlock one of the true ending paths, like we jump back into it, because we're likely going to have to almost replay the whole game again. And see, like, I don't want to do that like 4, 5, 6 times. I don't know, like, depends on how many girl paths are like actual paths or not. Let's see, like, I'm guessing Akane's 1. We have Kotori. Lucia, people have a big talk about a lot, so she's probably a path. I don't know. Shizuru probably is a path because, you know, this is visual novels in Japan, but I don't feel like she should be. She's so childlike and so small. It feels like it's on that line where it's like, I don't know, but, you know, like, it's fine. I'm sure she's fine. Adult, you know, as they say in the intro to get through Steam. So, like, there's a 4. So maybe it's only 4, but then there's whatever the true ending is. So I'm guessing I have to do 4 through playthroughs, and then I can access whatever the true ending is. So if that's the case, that's going to take time. Even on my own time, I only have so much time I can do something like that. And, you know, I have other stuff I do for my free time. So as much as I want to go through it, like, it's going to probably be a bit. So the question then becomes, like, do I just take a break where I dedicate the time I would normally be recording to playing through those endings and not really upload any videos that day? Do I start a different series and then wait till that series is over before I go back into this series? I have no idea. Like, I'm trying to decide, because leaving the slot, the Wednesday slot open for a little bit so I can catch up would be the easiest option. But it's not very much in the spirit of the channel. So perhaps it would be good to do a bit of a filler episode. And there's a few examples of things I could do for that. Like stuff that I know is on a relatively like shorter timetable. A great example I can even think of off the top of my head is Doki Doki Literature Club Plus. I did a coverage of Doki Doki Literature Club way back when. I missed the big hype train of it, but I had it recommended to me a lot, and so once I had an opening, I played it. Pretty fun. I enjoyed like the nuance and the goofiness. I did, of course, because there was so much chatter going on online, I knew that there was something funky about it, and I knew to kind of keep an eye out for stuff. And so I think I didn't quite get the best experience with it because it was kind of spoiled for me. But Doki Doki Literature Club Plus apparently is that game, but it has extra content, which I never explored. And I really enjoyed that series. So maybe we could do a short trip through there. Or there's way back, one of my favorite series I've covered was Ace Academy. The fans voted for an after story for that, which is Kaori's, which is interesting though, because I picked the Yui ending because I thought she was a much more engaging character. But Kaori was a fun character, and I did play through her storyline, just not on stream. So that would be another one, because that game's relatively short. It's just a fluffy, like, romance kind of tale. Could be really fun just to play some more pixel fade. But contextually, it doesn't make a lot of sense, so it almost still feel like a break. It's interesting. I don't know. I'd love to know what your input is on that. Obviously, really don't spoil things, but like, if I'm not on the right path of like thinking this out, of trying to kind of forecast without spoiling myself, like I like, now's the time to give me hints, not to the plot, but like to like what I might have to do to access a true ending and how long that might take. And then what do you think would be decent options to do in lieu of that? Because I mean, we could do some off the wall stuff too. Like I could I could just do like some chill like live streams on Wednesday nights instead of like a normal video upload. I could just kind of do community Q&As where I just like, I don't know, play a game or make my plastic model or whatever and just kind of like chat, do a live stream thing. Like I don't live stream very often, but maybe it's time to give it a try. See if I can, and my computer can handle it more now, so I'm sure it would be all right. Yeah, there's a lot to think about here. Anyway, I have rambled on long enough. I am so sorry. Hopefully, if I remember correctly in the editing, I'll put like a skip to here if you didn't want to have all the explanations, but it's important, so I'm glad you stuck around for it. Anyway, without further ado, let's jump into it and see what other craziness we're going to encounter today. Huh? Someone addressed me during my lunch break.
一緒に学食に行かない?
Hey, that's kind of cool. The group of friends he usually hangs out with are lingering behind his back. You sure you want me to join?
久しぶりに.
None of my comrades are in school today either. Another half a day has passed without me getting the chance to fool around. It's okay. I wouldn't want to impose on you guys.
邪魔なんかじゃないよ。仲間だって思ってるよ。
So they can definitely tell like all my friends are just not here and I probably look like a really sad lost puppy. That's surprising. I falter, unsure how to react. I'm feeling a little bit bashful. Before joining the ORS, I usually ate alone. So I could always be there for Kotori if she needed me. I'd exchange a few words with people here and there, trying to avoid getting too personal, but building a great number of shallow relationships. I can't even recall the last time someone invited me like this. Really? Thank you.
敬語.
It's most likely genuine goodwill on their part. It makes me feel guilty. That's the worst. It's like you're at school, and if you're on the more loner side of things, like then someone reaches out to you, you almost feel guilty, even though you shouldn't. They're just being nice, but like it feels like you're imposing on them. I got that feeling a lot, but I overcame it by overcompensating and being very much on a giving side and like socially orchestrating stuff. So I tend to float between groups of friends, but I never quite felt like I was ever really truly ingratiated in them. Like in some I was for sure, but even then, and even those, I still always felt like there was just some kind of distance there. And that's the way it is for all relationships for me. I don't know if that's normal or not. Probably is, but like there's always that even for the people who are absolute closest to me in my personal life, I always feel like there's that tiny piece of me that I still hold in reserve for some reason. And not even because I'm bashful or because I'm ashamed. It's almost like there's a part of me I just want to keep to myself. Even if it hurts feeling like you're alone sometimes. Like sometimes it feels like it's ground that I can't fork over. It's like a final bastion of my psyche that no one ever sees. So I can get it, Kotori. Because it makes me realize how I view everyone else. Crap, I actually had something urgent to take care of. Maybe I'll catch you guys some other day?
そう。マジで遠慮とかいらないよ。
I'm not being considerate. It's just I've been a bit out of it lately.
そう。
So I'm not really hungry, sorry.
じゃあ、帰りにパンでも買ってこようか。
Dude, this guy's a champion! No, you don't need to run errands for me. I'd rather not get accused of running a ring of delinquents.
こっちから言い出したことだから、パシリじゃないよ。お金だってちゃんともらうしさ。
Fair.
何がいい?
Just grab two of something that's available.
了解。ドリンクは?
Oolong tea or coffee would do. I hand him 300 yen and see the group of guys off. That was nice of them. I haven't been eating much lately. The part about not having an appetite was the truth. They say my communication skills are important, but I'm just a bit intimidated by the concept. I mean, there's good and bad ways of handling those skills. The ones who are good end up trusted by many, while the ones who are bad end up isolated. You know, it's kind of funny though. Based on my experience and the way people have interacted with me, you can do both. Because I think I fell into that category where I feel like I feel isolated. I always felt isolated, and yet I also get the feeling from the way people have talked about me even after school. Like when I interact with some of my ex-high school friends and acquaintances, a lot of them speak very highly of me. A lot of them talk about like the times when they confided in me and told me things and just had conversations about stuff they couldn't talk about with anybody else. And that they trusted me with that. And like I can recall and think about those conversations, and I definitely, handled them with care. I didn't just divulge secrets or anything, but like to think of it in the light of like they trusted me is a whole different way to look at it rather than just like someone holding a conversation. I was just really good at like talking to people and listening to them. And I think that led to a lot of them to trust me. But then I also ended up feeling like I never got to talk about myself all that much, because if I ever got the opportunity, I tended to just not, because again, I felt guilty. Felt like I was imposing on them, and like why should I, especially after I've just heard like what they're going through, why should I share what I'm going through? Like I don't want to make their day worse. So yeah, you can do both, regardless of how good or bad a person they are. Not to mention that I'd probably be classified as evil anyway. Yeah, he does, like, he really does think about himself, like, aside. Like, in, Tennouji... Not Tennouji, that's him. Alright. The delinquent kid. Sorry. One of the downsides lately of like what I've been feeling and the sickness and all that is like I get this brain fog where I can't think of things I really should. Yoshino, that's it. It takes so long for me to get to just basic stuff I should know. Yoshino called him out on that. Said like it's like you think highly of yourself. You think you're better than everybody else. And while in Kotoru's like world, it's true. He is like a superhero essentially. He's got like abilities that make him far superior to others. It has kind of infected the way he looks at other people. Which is why I started the Occult Research Society. I wanted to finally establish proper human connections for a change. To finally face others with my true self. Together with Kotori. Your communication skills mean nothing within the ORS. Hanging out with someone on honest terms isn't as easy as it sounds. The difficulty of there not being a correct answer always looms like a wall. And our little gathering ultimately fell apart too. Was there anything I could have done to prevent that end? I still don't know. But I at least wanted to get Kotori back. To save her from my miserable defeat.
Oi!
Speak of the devil. What do you want, Yoshino? Yoshino blocks my way. It's been a while since I talked to him.
誘ってくれたなら、なぜ言ってやらねえ。どうして断った？何様だ？
You don't sound like yourself.
それが筋ってもんだろう。
What?
言葉は何でもいい。義理だろうが仮だろうがよ。借りたままかてめえは。
The hell are you talking about? I appreciate their sentiment, but I don't feel indebted at the moment. Besides, that came out of nowhere. Never ate with those guys before.
本気で言ってんのか？
I've got no idea what you're trying to say, dude. He's trying to say, like, they went out on a limb to offer you an olive branch, and you just ignored it, really.
全容だ？てめえが恩知らず野郎だってことだ。
He's right. Again, Yoshino's actually pretty good at calling our BS, but at the same time, we have a legitimate reason. I think we're not in a good state of mind, and being mindful when there's so much chaos going on in your personal life, it's a luxury, not necessarily a necessity. I have no idea what he's upset about. Aren't you the outlaw, a lone wolf, and all that? Would you go with them if they invited you? Fat chance, right?
俺は人に借りは作らねえ主義だ。だがてめえは違う。
Are you saying I owe a debt to them? I can't recall. What exactly did that happen? Yoshino suddenly seizes me by the collar. His usual fare, but today I have no idea where he's going with this. What's he so angry about? And as I stare at him, confused,
Yoshino-kun, やめろよ。
the guy that never stood out from the flock before boldly orders Yoshino to stand down. And Yoshino obeys without even giving him an intimidating glare. What the heck? What's going on?
てめえみてえな卑怯な野郎。
Yoshino brushes past my shoulder and leaves the classroom. Please explain what the hell you want from me.
天王寺君は気にしないでいいよ。
No, but that seemed completely different from the usual, Khan. Did I do something? I've been a bit unstable lately. Perhaps I hurt someone without even realizing it.
天王寺君、
He places his hand on my shoulder.
何にもないよ。天王寺君は悪くない。
You know what? What if this is something Akane did? What if she somehow pulled some strings to give him, like, some kind of good reputation? Like, maybe she, like, let it out that he went on his own through the mountains trying to find, Inyo and was found collapsed in the forest, having exhausted himself trying to find her. And like all his classmates are like impressed about that. And they want to support him, especially because it's pretty clear he was treated unfairly. I could see that being something Akane manipulated to try and give him a good, essentially a send-off. Like, here, go have a normal life. I'll give you a runway to happy high school life where nothing's crazy and you can just do what you want.
部活がダメになってちょっと疲れているだけだよ。
A mob, a crowd, the faceless masses of my classmates. I always thought of them as part of the background. We might have exchanged a few words, but I never felt like they were on the same page. I didn't pay attention to them, and they didn't pay attention to me. So what's going on today? I feel like all sorts of things are beginning to crumble around me.
神戸さんならしばらくお休みしますとだけ連絡をもらっていますよ。
Huh? Did they give you a reason?
ええ、急のことだとか。
Who contacted you? Her parents? Kotori herself?
受けたのはジムの人だからわかりません。
Fetch. I see.
あまり長くお休みが続くようであれば連絡をしてみようとは思いますが。
Thank you very much.
天王寺くん、あなたも疲れているんじゃありません？
What? No,
カウンセラーの先生が暇そうなんです。
Huh?
もしよければ気分転換代わりにでも利用してあげてください。
Honestly, it's actually a good idea. I doubt he'll listen to it, but it's a great idea. Sure, if I ever get the opportunity. I don't care about myself for the time being. I'm more curious about that phone call. The office staff won't tell me anything even if I asked. Where the hell did you go, Kotori? I researched my power until midnight. Though I don't have a clear reason to be so enthusiastic about them. I might be capable of a few unusual things, but most of my life revolves around being a normal student. I have no reason to randomly sacrifice my ordinary life and jump into the fray of supernatural battles. Monsters do exist, and so do secret organizations, and superpowers. Regardless, my own life is the most precious thing to me. As such, I'm tinkering with my powers like I'd tinker with a toy, nothing serious. It's just a way to kill time, like video games and manga. According to my observations, there are 3 ways to develop my powers. For close quarters combat, long-range warfare, and somewhere in between. The claws are good enough for close quarters. I can't change where Aurora emerges from, my wrist. They probably can't expect anything better considering the design of the human body. For medium range, I had to come up with something to counter stuff beyond the reach of my claws. Something akin to a dragon's straw attack would be perfect. After many tries, I managed to intimidate an inferior version of it, so it seems like it's going somewhere at least. That's about it. I have nothing for long-range warfare for now. After doing some research on the internet, I learned that guns took a very long time to reach their current form. The earliest stuff was terrible. Most often than not, it would blow up in your face instead of at your enemies. I would start with like a bow? Crossbow? Yep, that seems a more logical place to be. I can bend Aurora according to my will, but it also means it's limited to my knowledge and experience. I've got no clue how to make a gun. Can't possibly imagine a functional rifle down to the most minute detail. It would make some more sense to imagine a shuriken or hold it like at my enemies or something. But Aurora disintegrates the moment it loses contact with my body. The shuriken would probably be gone before I manage to throw it. That's pointless. The deeper I get into this, the less I have to think about other stuff. Saves me from my dark thoughts. Wait, isn't the Harvest Festival? Excuse me. It starts on Sunday the 21st. Today's Thursday, so it's right around the corner already. Can't believe I forgot. That's just how bad a spot I'm in mentally. That said, what could I even do there alone? I could try to write up a report for my job. I really don't feel like it, but it beats the endless self-study at school, if nothing else. If things hadn't gone the way they did, we all could have participated as a team. As the Occult Research Society. I glance at the town from my window. I can hear the sounds of hustle and bustle from all the way over here, with everyone preparing for the festival and loads of new people coming to town. The preparations don't extend all the way to the residential area, but some of the households do go out of their way to attach thematic lights to their houses. An exciting atmosphere just before the festival. And yet my heart may as well be lost at the bottom of the ocean. Huh? 3 silhouettes are walking down the road further ahead. For a split second, I glimpse their faces under a streetlight. I frantically dash out of my house. Oh, who was it? There's a light in Kotori's window for the first time this week. I ring the bell. The door opens immediately.
どちら様ですか?
Oh, my thank you. Yes! You're alive! Hang on. Oh, Kotori. You look sad, but I'm happy. Kotori! Hug! I jump over the gate and clasp her shoulders with both my hands. Her delicate, fragile build fills me with sadness, so I pull her into an embrace. Kotori, I was so worried. Aww. I feel a slight resistance, but I don't care. I'm only squeezing her harder. I have zero ulterior motives for making contact with her this time. I just can't contain my relief.
ごめん。
Where have you been?
武道館ソロライブ。
Really?
1万人のオーディエンスと交換してたの。
Okay, maybe not. You dork. I have almost no memories of holding Kotori in my arms before. The sensation is paralyzingly bittersweet quality to it. I can feel her brittle bones against my skin and smell a faint scent of soil from her neck. Hey, remember how she talked about how she's gay? Wait, she's tiny! Everyone disappeared after that night.
会長さんも?
Yeah, everyone. The RS is done for. But I never expected you to disappear as well. So, I got so scared.
ごめんよ。実家に戻ってたの。急な話で。私もついていかないといけなくなって。親戚がね、大きな問題で。
Okay. Well, that sounds like complicated. Her explanation sounds all over the place. Almost as though she just made it up on the spot. But I don't feel like pushing the point right now. I don't care about all that. I'm too afraid to let the small frame slip out of my embrace again. You lost weight.
そんなのわかるの? 嫌だな。恥ずかしい。
You're all I've got now. I don't think the others will return.
そうなんだ。小太郎くんのお楽しみ。終わっ
Everyone's right. I didn't make the club just for my own sake. I'd like to think I didn't anyway.
そうだったね。ごめん。
You didn't return my emails.
携帯、バッテリー切れちゃってたの。
I see.
後で返信してあげる。
That's why I like Kotori. I really genuinely think Kotori is my favorite character. She's just... You never know what she's gonna say, but all of it's sweet. Even, like, her toilet jokes. She's, like, the only person I've ever seen pull off toilet jokes. And now all I can think is feel is happiness. Kotori? I love you, Kotori. We just confess, and she just pulls the Han Solo on us. There's a short silence. Then Kotori answers me with a small, clear voice.
2度目だね。
The dramatic second confession came out subdued, barely a whimper compared to the bang I imagined. Second, indeed, it's the second time. But I can't even come up with a line to make it sound good. I can't think of anything. I'm terrible with setting a good mood, or rather powerless. Never felt it more acutely than I do now. But I don't regret it. I've been in love with you since way back. You know that, right?
そうなんだ。
Don't pretend you didn't. I mean, I've confessed to you once before already.
覚えてたんだね。
How could I possibly forget? It was just before we got to high school. I told you how I felt, but... Aww.
ごめんね。
Oh, she's so cute! Oh, she's crying, though. To be honest, I thought you'd say yes back then. It was too full of myself. I didn't even consider the alternative. I mean, we were always on the same vibe. It already looked like we were dating. At least everyone else thought so. That's just how close we were back then. But you rejected me. I could barely believe it back then. It was like I got punched in the head and couldn't snap out of it. I got over it eventually and returned to normal, thinking you'd keep your distance from me from that point on. But that never happened. You remained by my side. Why?
だって、小太郎くんだもの。
Sure, okay.
そばにいるのが自然なくらいの。
Okay.
小太郎くんだもの。
Aww. I clasp her arm. It's slender and delicate like silk, completely unlike that of a man. I hope so. I felt relieved. I thought I couldn't ask for more, though only for a fleeting moment. At times past, I realized how shallow that was. It was tough. You were at my side, but I realized you'd erected a barrier between us. I could tell you were careful not to let any of our conversations stray towards feelings or love. And it was like that confession never happened. I felt like you were treating my feelings as some unreal phantasm. It broke my heart.
そんなことはないけど。
I'm not blaming you. You can't avoid getting hurt after the rejection one way or the other. I'm not saying I just shrugged it off. Actually, it ripped my guts out. I really didn't want to admit it, but that was the first time I'd ever cried myself to sleep. Bro, same. Rejection sucks. The first time rejections really suck. Oh, man.
そこまで。
How But despite the pain, I was still happy that our relationship managed to survive that. I did my best not to look at you that way anymore. And you remained at my side. To be honest, it got a bit tough at times. We're not dating, then we're just childhood friends, right? And those don't really stick together for that long, especially after reaching adulthood. We won't be able to remain together forever like this, right? The end will come sooner or later. And out of nowhere, just like this time. You might find some guy, end up spending all your time with him instead. I don't think I could take that. I'm not that strong. Kotori, why didn't you leave me? Why didn't you just put an end to everything back then, there and then? You know, it's pretty cruel to treat someone's confession as though it never happened and then remain by their side, I think. Yeah, kinda. It's interesting because this actually happened to me. High school sweetheart. I'd had a crush on her for a long time. Nothing really came up. She kind of put up the barrier pretty quick, just like that. And we just kind of remained friends. She knew I liked her, but also knew that she wasn't feeling the same. But we remained really close friends for several years. She went through a few relationships and then had a really dramatic thing happen where her kind of friend group imploded. And she felt very alone. And so she spent a lot more time with me and a mutual friend. And we bonded really strongly there. But it's funny because like I was so concerned about her, what she was going through. I wasn't even thinking about like progressing our relationship. I was just concerned about her, especially because she was being really unhealthy. She'd been losing weight. She wasn't talking very much. And I could just tell because I'd gotten to know her over the years. Like I could read her pretty well. And I knew she was horrifically stressed. We like to write, so we both like to write stories. We even wrote one together, and then we would like write on our own and kind of like, you know, be kind of peer editors, kind of just someone to share the story crafting with. Especially because before we met, she didn't really have anyone else in her life that wrote, so it was really nice. I think that was one of the reasons why she kept me around initially. But it was the day that she kind of revealed that like she hadn't written anything for weeks, which was really odd for her. She normally she would prolifically write like most evenings. It was her way of dealing with stress usually. That was something I knew, like it always helped her feel better. And so she was going through this monumental stress of like essentially losing all of her friends at one time. And that collapsing of your life is so destructive. I mean, we've even seen it in this episode. Excuse me. And she went through that. And I was just kind of there trying to help. And I remember I got really, really concerned when she talked about how she hadn't been writing and her dentist had told her that she was grinding her teeth and it was a stress response, something she'd never done before. And I heard that and it just, something in me snapped because I'm normally a very easygoing, very soft-spoken person, especially back then. But I remember something in me kind of broke there when I realized what was going on. I remember I kind of went and I like grabbed her by the shoulders and I had her look at me in the eye and said like, you need to stop. You need to go home and you need to sit in front of your computer. You need to write. I don't care if you don't write a single thing. You need to sit there and stare at that screen until something happens. That's not because you are not who you are right now. You are not in a good place. And that's something that you need to do. I was like, you got to promise me. You have to make time for yourself and you need to see it through. I don't care if it's hot garbage. You need to come back at the end of the weekend and say that you've been able to write something. I don't care if it's a sentence. It has to be something. And she kind of looked a little shocked, but she was like, okay. And I, like that whole weekend, I was sweating bullets. I didn't hear anything from her. I thought like I just nuked our relationship. I was like one of her only friends now. And like I just destroyed it. I was panicking, but I kept quiet and gave her the space. because I knew I needed to trust her. I knew I needed to give her that opportunity. And she came back to school on a Monday, and she was smiles, all smiles. And she was so excited to come up to me and talk to me. She said that it took like 2 hours of her just staring at the screen. And then eventually she just started writing. And almost as soon as she started, it was like the floodgates opened. And she just started pouring out her heart. Her whole feelings just got blasted onto the page. And she wrote for hours. And she said she walked away from it having such a relief, feeling so much lighter. And feeling like for the first time since her entire life had been imploded, that things were going to be okay. And I think that was the moment our relationship changed. Because I stepped up and I identified what she needed and I committed her to it. And she realized that it wasn't just because I cared or had some infatuation. It was I knew her and I got to know her and understand her as a true friend. And I think that was the ticket. And so then we dated for a while. But then when the time came that we did break it off, it was kind of sudden. And, I suspected it was going to happen because we both had done studying abroad stuff and we'd been writing each other the whole time. But towards the end, the writing became less frequent. And so I figured something must have happened. And I'm not entirely sure what did, but she eventually kind of broke it off. But she did what Kotori did. She said no, built a wall, and we stayed friends for another year until she did meet a guy. And then she broke it off completely. She literally just sent me a single email saying hey, I'm seeing a guy. It's getting pretty serious. I don't think we should talk anymore. And then she just cut me off. She blocked me on all social media and just didn't want anything to do with me anymore. To this day, I don't know why. I don't think she hated me because she was willingly eager to spend time with me up until that point. I think it was just that whole harbored feelings. We had been really close. We had been a couple. And so when she started finding somebody that she felt like she wanted to be with the rest of her life, because she ended up marrying that guy, I think that when she realized that she wanted to be with that person and that he was the one, I think she just wanted to make a clean cut because she didn't want any potential lingering feelings and whatnot. But that year, from the breakup to the cutoff, it was hard. It was really hard. But I don't know. I think I still preferred that to the cutoff, frankly. I've been able to move on, sure, but occasionally I think about her. I wonder if she's okay. I wonder how her life's going. Mine certainly changed a lot. It'd be nice for someone who was so important in my life, even though we both got married and have completely different lives. She was also, for longer than we were dating, she was one of my best friends. And I always wonder, is she doing all right? Things going okay for her? But I also know that, I'm a lot easier to find than she is. I'm sure if she ever wanted to reconnect, she would be able to find me and reach out to me. I do hope she does eventually. I do want to know how life's treating her. I'd love to show her the cool things that I've done and the hopes and dreams that I aspire to have. But if that's not in the stars, it's not. So I don't know. I've been through both sides, the cutoff and the kept by your side. I don't think either of them's any more cruel than the other one. I think I'd prefer to keep that person in your life, though, when they mean so much to you. Even if it can't be the relationship you wanted, it can still be a good one. It can still be impactful. It can still be meaningful. But maybe it's a risk. Maybe rekindling those emotions can pose a risk to the relationships you want to cultivate. And if that's the case, if that was the danger, if she genuinely thought that could happen, then I understand. And I totally get it. And I wouldn't hold that against her. I wouldn't hold it against her regardless, but part of me at least wanted to know, right? Anyway, that's me. This is going to be a long episode with a giant intro and my stories. This is going to be a freaking huge episode. Anyway.
ごめんなさい。
Don't apologize. I just wanted to know.
理由は話しにくいよ。
Are you saying I don't have the right to know?
そうは言わないけど。
I'm not going to force you. I raised her arm before I know it. My grip is tensed and my fingers were digging into her skin.
でも、私が他の誰かとくっつくって話、それだけは絶対ないから。
Okay, I'm honest. I don't like how she says that. She's saying I won't be with anybody else, but it's almost like she just doesn't expect, like, it's either like she just says, I just don't want to ever get married. You know, I don't ever want to be in a relationship, which is perfectly reasonable. You know, like, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. But the way she's saying it is almost more akin to, I'm not going to be around to do that. And that's kind of scary. What are you saying? You never know what might happen.
私は男友達とかもいないし。
Those kinds of girls are always the first to get picked up. You got lots of guys asking you out, don't you?
誰とも親しくならなかったよ。私、そういうの興味ないから。
See, that's hard, because, like, I really like Kotori as a character, but, I mean, if she's not interested, she's not interested. It's not that she doesn't like people, she just doesn't feel that way. It's like, I mean, it almost can be like a form of asexualism, but that's more about, like, people who are just not interested in, like, sexual, like, intimacy. But oftentimes they still want to have that, like, connection, and even getting married is part of it. Oh, what is it though? There is a term. There is a group in the LGBTQ plus community that is not as often talked about. Jaden Animations had a really good video about this, because she's kind of in that boat where not only is she just not really feel that desire for, like, a sexual relationship, but even, like, a romantic one, like hugs and kissing and holding hands and going on dates. Like, that's just she's never felt that interested in that. But it took her years to realize that she just, like, it was the way she thought about things, and it was who she was, rather than, like, just a quirk of, like, oh, I just never found the right person, or I don't know, I just can't be bothered. Like, and then she came to realize, like, oh, I don't know if I even want that. So maybe that's what's, like, I can't remember the term, but she said a great, I'll try and put a link in the description to that video, because it's really, really good. So maybe that's what Kotsuri's like.
だから、大事な小太郎くんが幸せになってから、自分のこと考えようと思ってた。
Interesting. Yeah, so she's putting in the frame that she was like, well, once he moves on, I'll figure it out. What's that supposed to mean?
彼女作るとか、やりたいことを見つけるとか。
I thought she was gonna look for a girlfriend. I was like, oh, okay.
それを見届けてから。
What the hell's that supposed to mean? How's my happiness relevant to you doing your own thing?
どうしてかな？わかんないや。
That's weird. That is very strange.
小鳥さん、変な人。
But you're weird in the best way, Kotori. You're not making any sense. I think I could have given up if you made it obvious you weren't interested in me.
小太郎くんには幸せになってもらいたいよ。なんだろう。お母さんみたいな気持ちかも。
Ugh! No way, I'm gonna accept that.
小太郎くん、安心して。私、彼氏とか作らないから。
I got rejected again in an extremely roundabout way. But rather than disappointment, all I feel is confusion. I'm not complete dunce. I can tell she has some sort of feelings for me. Might not necessarily be the kind of love I wish for, but there's an obvious closeness and warmth between us. I'm sure I'm closer to Kotori's heart than anyone else. But why? Why does she refuse to cross that line? Well, like I said, she just might not want to, bud. Like, it's not inconceivable. For most of us, it can be. Like, most of us would be like, how, like, who doesn't want that? But the thing is, like, there are people who don't want that. Any reason you'd like to give me?
今の関係が壊れるのが嫌ってんじゃダメ？
Yeah, not really. Feels like you're trying to hide something. I don't think it's true anyhow.
うまく説明できないんだ。
She sadly averts her gaze from me.
私の気持ち、言葉にできないのばかりで。
It's painful.
ごめんね。
It's exhausting.
ごめんなさい。
It'd be easier if you just said you hated me.
無理。
Why? For what reason? My thoughts are clogging up in my brain like mud. I can't tell Kotori isn't planning on telling me the truth. It's not going to get anywhere if I keep this up. Retreat is probably my best option for now. I can't believe I've got to back down after telling her everything. It's not easy to swallow all the frenzied emotion I built up during this conversation. There's still next time. Believing, though forcing myself to believe in that, I finally managed to contain myself. I got it. I'm so pathetic.
かっこいいよ。
Huh.
撃たれてもおかしくないと思ってた。小太郎くん、やっぱり大人だ。
How could you think that? You're allowed to feel your own feelings, and even if it doesn't align with mine. Kotori, you're silly. Really? I'm the same guy who totally lost his head a moment and disappeared a few days ago. Will you at least drop me a message next time?
タイミングは偶然だったんだ。本当に急で、メールもできなくて。ごめんね。
She looks into my eyes from only a few centimeters away. That look makes me want to forgive her for anything. This soothed my confusion and irritation like a weird drug. And the way she apologized was really adorable too. I know, how could no one could be mad at Kotori. No one. I let her go. Kotori returns to her house. She peeks her head back out from the doorway to look at me. Just let me know one thing, Kotori. All the other guys that approach you are only interested in your body. They can't contain their libido. It's either that or they're after your money. Don't let them fool you, okay? Also, all guys that look better than me have undergone plastic surgery, just so you know.
最後だけ、ちょっと格好悪くなっちゃったね。
After making her promise that she'll show up at school tomorrow, I finally leave her house. My impression of Kotori's facial expression when I suggested we go to school together is something akin to... I managed to smooth over this whole confession business, so I better just go along with him on this. But I guess now she's stuck with me. Kotori was strongly against us going to school together until now. She said it was embarrassing, but I don't think that's the real reason. Rather, she probably been careful not to let the distance between us shrink too much. Though the actual reason for that remains unclear. She also said she didn't hate or dislike me in any shape or form. I smell a long battle ahead of me. Feeling energy return to my body. I used it to cleave away my lingering regrets in regard to the Occult Research Society. It shouldn't chase two hearts at the same time. I'll never let one of the few precious things remaining to me out of my sight again. Ooh, that's a promise. With demons and dragons and stuff. Hey!
おはようタイム。
I succeeded in making her come to school together with me today. Everyone's gaze is focused on us. After a few moments, we receive our usual morning greetings. I'm the guy who can talk to anyone, and Kotori is the girl who talks to almost no one. I suppose that's what you get when you're adding us together and dividing by the results by 2. Kotori moves to her seat and begins preparing her textbooks. No other girls approach her in the meantime. That's something I'll have to fix at some point. Good morning, my kindred spirits.
おはよう。元気出てるね。
I approached the group that invited me to lunch yesterday. Does my visage appear different on this grand day? Aha!
なんとなく。
I'm all cheered up, and no small part thanks to you. Sorry for not hanging out with you guys yesterday.
いいって。気にしないよ。
I'll treat you to something next time. Not long I'll have a reason to bring people together for Kotori's sake. As such, I decided to cast all my false diplomacy away and simply act like myself in front of everyone. Might not be the trendiest thing these days, but I want to establish proper human connections. After a while, Yoshino drags his feet in the class. It's a bit difficult given what happened yesterday, but... Morning. Yeah, here we go. He gives me a murderous glare. But that's what I wanted. I no longer have a reason to go out of my way to interact with him. It's true that the 3 of us are the outcasts of the class, but it doesn't necessarily mean we have to form a trio. I can treat him like any other person.
職員室に行ってくる。
Did they ask for you?
しばらく休んでたから挨拶してくる。
That's true. You're a diligent one, ain't you? Good luck. First period's about to start, but none of the other members of the outside Kotori are in class. I'd be lying if I said it didn't hurt, but I decided to try and forget them for now. I mean, they made it pretty clear. It wasn't what they wanted. We go to the cafeteria for lunch. Feels new. Though we did stuff like this back in the club room, we never acted like a couple in public. Because Kotori avoided that. Should I treat this as progression or distortion in our relationship? Yes. Regardless, I have no leeway to occupy myself with such questions at the moment. After eating, we try going to the club room for the first time in a while. It's empty. The clamor before has dissipated as if it was never there at all. Kotori doesn't appear to be shocked. I'm saddened by that, though, as expected. But it's up to Kotori, and I have no intention of complaining about it.
これからは二人で何かやる？
Kotori suggests something unexpected. Yeah. Not as motivated as before. We no longer need a special place to be together. Since it's just the two of us, we can meet up anywhere. Our relationship is now self-sufficient. The spread of the green committee that Kotori attends, or the occult research society that hosted everyone, is no longer necessary to bring us close. I forgot. What should I do about the Harvest Festival part-time job? I've been refusing offers to the editor department. I managed to produce an article that warranted being hired, but I doubt they'll expect anything from me at this point. But given the scale of the Harvest Festival, I'm sure there's more than enough open jobs.
いいんじゃないかな。すごくいい。
Really? You want to do something too? I'll try contacting a few places I know. That said, at this point, the only available jobs probably consist of running all over the festival and making reports.
お父さんの古いやつでよかったらデジカメ貸してあげる。
That'd be a big help. Kotori's dad probably has a much better camera than I could afford.
他にいるものはある？
Kotori's surprisingly helpful today. Well, I think I could really use an assistant.
わかった。
Okay, yeah, I'm starting to get a little weird vibe here. She's like being super, like she's almost not being herself right now. She's like joking around. She's being super like gung-ho.
早速シルバー人材派遣センターに連絡していい人を。
Okay, there we go. I was asking you.
おっと。
Okay, there she is. And I even went out of my way to be graceful and roundabout about it.
ごめんごめん。冗談。学校への届け出は？
Yeah, I notified them, and I can't exactly take it back at this point.
じゃあ小鳥さん手伝える。
Just this once? Yeah, we can divide the pay to equal shares.
いらない。
I can't allow that.
お金いらないし。
Then would you like me to pay you back in a different way?
体で払うとか言いそうだからいらない。
It didn't have to be. Had exactly that in mind.
本当にお金とか記事作り楽しそうだし、課外活動はしないとだし。
Well, then we'll make it a debt I owe.
心の帳簿につけとく。地味でいい記事を作ろうよ。
That sounds just like you, but I'd prefer something a bit more flashy, I think. Nah, let's do it your way.
やっぱり派手なのがいい？
Nah, I don't really care anymore. We should just do whatever we find fun together.
素敵な考え。ハッピーだね。
Aww. Kotori smiles. I want her to do it more. And from the bottom of her heart for a change.
あ、でも一ついい？
What is it?
オカルト関係はもうやめにしない？
Yeah, I get that. Huh? I wasn't planning to hunt for the occult again either way, but why do you bring it up?
あまり触れない方がいいと思う。
She does know more about what's going on. The things we saw that night, all of them were far beyond an average person's imagination. We've done our best to avoid bringing them up in the conversation so far. It's a secret on a whole nother level. You probably have to search forever and find a better lead for an article, but just revealing that knowledge requires quite a bit of courage and resolve. It's dangerous to uncover things that adults are collectively sweeping under the rug. It's merely a single student with unusual powers. Kotori hasn't asked anything about them either. Everything that happened that day started feeling like a dream.
お願いしたいな。
Kotori's intense gaze pierces me. Alright, I'll stay away from anything occult. I raise my hand, admitting defeat. We're no longer the ORS anyway. You can see genuine relief in her smile. Oh boy. A little bit more. The same day, a girl from the newspaper club I talked to before contacts me. Inoue has been found. Whoa, what? She changed schools?
うん。
The girl that belonged to the same club as Inoue clearly looks exhausted. Well, no, that's a cover-up for sure. Is that what she told you?
連絡だけ来た。
Apparently, they haven't been told any of the details. All they know is that she was found, taken to protection, and changed schools. No wounds were discovered on her body, so it's not like the wild beasts or thugs assaulted her. Don't they normally put you in a hospital when something like that happens? Did she really change schools without even wanting to recover?
顧問から聞いた話だけど
Yeah, this smells.
転院するんだって。で、そのまま他の学校に移るみたい。
That's way too sudden. She changed schools without even meeting any of her friends?
体より 精神的なことなんじゃないの？
That's what I'd guess too. Alright, there's a kernel of believability to that. Has her health declined to an extent where she can't even meet people? That she's become completely helpless mentally? It's hard to say anything without her own input. I take out my phone. But it's alright. Is it alright to call her?
あ、携帯、もう解約しちゃってるから、あの子。
These guys are too darn neat.
え？
Nah, I'm just talking to myself. Yeah, he suspects too.
一つね、これは不確かな情報で真に受けないでほしいんだけど、理事会の方から何か手が回ったみたいな話があるんだ。
Yeah, you mean of our school? The governing board. Would they make this drastic of a move over the disappearance of a single girl? Could it have been Akane? Inoue left town, but whether that's a decision made of her own will, I don't have enough information to say one way or the other.
はい、さようなら。
School's over. I took class seriously for the first time in a while, so I feel mentally drained. I decided to contact the editorial department right away.
放課後はどうしたらいいですか？
Kotori comes to me for orders. Why are you asking me?
勝手に行動したら小太郎くん怒りそうだから。
I wouldn't be angry, just disappointed he left me out. No, I'm not that kind of guy who gets tied up who likes to tie up my significant other. Well, not figuratively anyway.
そっち。
yeah.
今何と申した？
Yeah, I saw what he tried to do there. Low tone plus smile equals terror. Nothing.
結構。不死だらは許さない。
Yeah, I have one difficult gal on my hands. I was thinking of visiting my editorial department real quick. I inconvenienced them in various ways, pretty directly.
バイトの件だね。じゃあ、私は帰っていい？
Yeah, for today. You'll come to school tomorrow, right? They'll have info of the Harvest Festival, so we can't miss it.
行くよ。門のところで待ってればいいんでしょ？
Yeah, that's right. We'll go together.
わかった。じゃあ、バイバイ。
Not bye-bye. It's till next time, wasn't it, Matane? Yeah, see you tomorrow. I call the editorial department as soon as I step out of the school to make an appointment.
U と U をつなぐ新時代のライフマガジン月刊テラ編集部の安西です。
Your line has changed.
前の方が好きだったんだけど決まりでね。天王寺くん
Yeah, that's right. I explained my situation while apologizing before asking for any work they may have.
いや、いくらでも余っているよ。収穫祭は記者が何人いても紹介しきれない規模だからね。
So, interesting. I want to take a moment here. So, the way he described himself, the editorial department of Terra, the new age life magazine that connects you to yourself. That's not, why is that ringing a bell? Like, I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if that organization was working with like Akane, because remember she was able to pull strings with like his pay slip and like even potentially him getting that job. Yeah. I feel like they're likely tied to like some of the shenanigans going on.
レポート系はあればあれだけ検討させてもらいたいから、もし原稿が書けたら提出してくれるかな。
Ah, I would love to. I've been hanging around this magazine with little to show for a while now, so I really have to appreciate the person's trust. I'm not as passionate as Inoue, but I probably wouldn't mind working in this field. In any case, I was thinking of visiting your office to apologize.
律儀だね。いいよ、そんなの。うちはそのあたり、のんびりしたものだからさ。
I mean, if they work with a lot of freelance writers, it would be.
いい記事、期待してるよ。
Guess I don't have to go after all. I should have made her wait. Kotori's probably already on her way home. What should I do? Might as well kill time with something random. Though, I feel like I'm overlooking something. What is it? Try my best to remember, but I can't. Akane. There's something about Akane. After racking my brains for a bit longer, I finally remember. The secretary. Akane's secretary. I'm pretty sure I heard she was teaching at her school. What was her subject again? pardon my intrusion. It's Tennouji.
おお、天王寺か。元気か。
座ってちょうだい。水道水かお湯でも飲む？
They're being very hospitable. Huh? Oh, thanks. Everyone appears very welcoming for whatever reason. What's up with these choices, though? Tap water?
PTA で問題になって、生徒にコーヒーとかお茶出すのは贈賄だってことになったんだ。
Bribery? Really? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
あら、天王寺くん、どうしたんですか？
I was just looking for someone.
神戸さんでしたら、ここにはいませんよ。
No, I'm looking for a teacher. Sharp-looking young woman, usually dressed in a suit. Glance around the staff room, but I don't spot anyone matching that description. I think she was probably new.
スーツ姿で、新任の女性教諭ですか？
天王寺くん、ここ最近は新採用はされてないのよ。
Okay. Huh? But I only started seeing her around school recently.
あの人じゃないか？音楽の。
しかし、新任ではないですよ。多分、天王寺くんがお探しの方は、音楽の先生だと思います。
Okay. Music. Understood. I'll try checking her classroom.
なんだ、天王寺。女教師と禁断の愛か？
Ha ha ha! You better not! Ha ha!
そうなんですか？でしたら、ちょっと問題ですね。ワンタッチで定額ですよ。
Yeah, yeah.
2タッチ以上では？
That's expulsion, and she probably gets fired.
合意であっても、謹慎か退学ですよ。
Alright, calm down.
あら、
The heck are they talking about? Teacher soon realized that wasn't something to joke about in front of a student, and the room descends into an awkward silence. There was something I didn't understand, so I wanted to ask for her guidance.
おやおや？ 2年生は音楽の授業はないでしょ？
It's an old thing from a while back. Really not the best excuse, especially considering we were talking about a new teacher.
そうでしたか。天王寺くんがお探しの方は、音楽室にいると思いますよ。
Thank you very much.
そういえばあの方は、
There.
言ってしまいました。
It's interesting that it actually changed like the gear in the corner.
どうかしたの？
あの方は確か今週限りで。
What if we missed her? I managed to find her right in front of the classroom. Oh, thank goodness. Excuse me. The alleged music teacher greets me with a businesslike nod. You were Senri Akane's secretary, weren't you?
さあ、そういう遊びかもしれませんよ。
What do you mean, game? You totally acted like her lackey. You even pilfered my hard-earned money at one point. Where did Prez go?
さあ、存じません。
Oh, sure. Come on. I know you're beating around the bush. I demand a serious conversation here.
大人はぶっちゃけません。
I know you're involved. I've seen you.
大人は抜け抜けと嘘をつくものです。
Huh? I feel sad now.
大人とはそういうものです。
Now I feel sad.
しかも、私は女ですから。本音と建前の強固な二重構造も勘案すべきでしょ。
Hey, guys could do that too. Most of them don't because it's insane. But I do. What you're doing right now is really childish, though. Could you contact Prez for me?
残念ですが。
Please?
無理ぷーです。
Come on. Then, what kind of group did Prez belong to anyway? You can tell me that much, can't you?
さっぱりわかりません。
Gosh, she's so dramatic. No lie. Translation, that's a lie.
秘密なんてなんもありません。
Ah, I see. Then I might as well spill the beans too. That this town is so full of monsters.
魔物そのことを知っていたとは。
Wait, you serious? The secretary visibly staggers. Sensing weakness, I continue my assault. I'm a journalist after all.
認めるしかないようですね。魔物の存在を。
Let me meet with Prez if you don't want me to reveal it to the world.
バラしたらいかがです？
What? The secretary suddenly becomes bold.
別にどうということはありません。女が魔物であるということくらい。
Oh, deflection. What tarnation are you talking about? Can't suppress my provincial accent.
女という魔物は男性からすれば謎に満ちた存在なんです。
Huh. This is stupid. I'm talking about black hounds and gosh darn green dragon.
その年齢で女が魔物であることに気づくとはなかなか見どころがあります。
You're not going to take me seriously, are you?
はい、ま、
This is brazen beyond words. I'll follow you around all day and night.
ストーキングですか？即通報します。
That's so unfair.
言いましたよ。大人はそういうものだと。それに私、今日限りで退職することになっておりますので。
The secretary gives me a malicious smile. Everyone disappeared at the same time. Just what is going on? What happened to Inoue? At least tell me that much.
井上さんですか。転校するそうですね。精神的に衰弱していたとかで。
So you do know about her.
教師ですから当然です。
You're a music teacher. I doubt that kind of information gets relayed to you. I hear she changed hospitals, but I can't contact her. She's canceled her phone service. I don't even know where she is. But I know of one person who could have pulled something like that, and that's Prez. Inoue probably saw something she shouldn't have, and Prez figured that out. Prez was involved in her hospitalization, wasn't she? What if they somehow gave her a drug to try and induce, like, amnesia? That might be the best way to, like, have a cover-up that doesn't involve her literally dying. There are rumors like that in the newspaper club already, and with Prez disappearing pretty much on the same day, it's impossible not to get suspicious, isn't it? Like you had to silence her because she learned something.
さて、どこに秘密があったんでしょうか。1階の音楽教師にはわかりません。
I'm getting nowhere. I heard the secretary let out a small sigh as I cast my head down in defeat.
彼女なら、とある女性との計らいで、安全な場所に身柄を移されました。
So we're right. I raised my face. You mean, I suppressed an overwhelming urge for ask for specifics. My childish sighed.
あなたの言ったことを言い換えただけです。千里さんの手配で病院に入った。そのことだけを表現しているのかもしれません。
But it's possible she'd arranged for her transfer and everything else as well?
さて、わかりません。お好きな解釈を。
Frankly, we should be grateful we got that much.
では、私は行きます。もうお会いすることもないでしょうが。
Thank you very much.
ご自分の生活を大切にすることです。
Yes, I'm planning to. Oh, that's again! It's like the cursed mouse strikes back! My voice rings out stronger than I meant to. I made my mind up a long time ago, not to chase after two hares. The secretary gives me a bold smile and walks off with a beautiful gait. Akane transferred Inoue to a safe place. I'm convinced of that now. I hope so. I hope so. Walked around for so long it got late. I'm hungry. I need to find something to eat. There's nothing but onions in my fridge. Oh, jeez. But going shopping at this hour feels like too much of a pain. I've been careful with my money, so I have quite a bit of living expenses saved. Decided to order a pizza. Medium supreme pizza and a cola. It ends up costing 1,750 yen. An expensive dinner. Not too... Well, I guess for one person that is pretty expensive, actually. My parents will probably complain about it later, but I can let my hair down once in a while. It's delicious. I haven't been able to taste anything I've eaten recently, but it seems like my sense of taste has returned. That's good. Having filled myself up, I take a bath and watch TV until I get sleepy and head to my room. Ooh, what's that music? There's something off here. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I think we're going to have to wait till next week to see what this is, because I don't want to go too much longer. And today's episode was about getting Kotori back. So now, danger is going to have to strike next week. Thank you all so much for being here today. Hope you enjoyed this episode. I certainly did. I did again, like I had my tirade at the very beginning of the video. I appreciate any insights you give without spoilers. And then if you have any potential solutions to what you think would be good or what you would like to see, especially if there's going to be a time gap between me finishing whatever ending I'm heading for now, which I'm guessing is the Kotori ending, and then like a true ending, one of them. Like like I said, I've heard there's multiple, and I'm only going to showcase one of them. But regardless of that, in the gap where I have to do the work leading up to whatever, like the checks that are needed to get to that to a true ending, if you have any advice, let me know. Thank you especially to patrons to make it possible for me to continue to make great content like this, and also just inspire me to continue to do my best to make it better every day. You're all amazing. I don't deserve you, but I'm really grateful for you, especially, and also for anyone who's watching the videos, leaving likes, comments on all that. It's wonderful. I really look forward to reading the comments. I try and interact with every single one. I don't always, but I do my best. But yeah, other than that, I look forward to continuing this story next week. So until the next video, watch me. If you see me next, I'll see you there.